When you approach a game, in your mind, do you ever factor during the week, like, how's my defense playing, and does that play a role in how you approach a particular game?
No, not really. In critical games like this, you really think, you go back to the trying into every drive and a kick type mentality. Some of them might be field position, might have to punt a couple times, but don't get frustrated in that. But for us, it's do what we can control. I think, we look at the tape of the games that we haven't won. Offensively, we just haven't played great. And so that's nothing against other teams, but it's execution, doing everything right when we need to, and just all the little details adding up. So for us, it's trying to do our job and trying to score every single time. But, in games like these, in a big-time matchup, stay positive, but, play smart football.
How do you assess your play halfway through the season, including the NFL touchdown passes? You throw more touchdown passes than any quarterback since you put on a Bucs jersey. You got to be pleased at least with that production.
Yeah, I mean, that aspect of it, yes, but I care about wins. We've had success in the past game, but we're just trying to find ways to win. I think there's a lot of plays that probably some of those stats should be better, but the one stat that should be better is wins, and that's what I'm focused on.
What do you like about Rakim Jarrett? He's healthy and on the field for you.
Explosive guy, really explosive. I think it go back to, I talked to you guys about him during last year's OTAs. Just the contested catch ability. You saw that in route late in the game. Just, he high points the ball really well. Naturally, he does that extremely well, and just when he gets rolling, he can move.
You've had a lot of penalties, offensively during this stretch where you haven't been winning. It's going to be loud in Kansas City. I don't think there's a louder stadium. But just how much is that a discussion among you guys? Because when you're 1st and 15, 1st and 20,
yeah. That goes back to shooting yourselves in the foot, whether it's penalties or just mistakes, and can't do it. And especially in a game like this on the road, guys have to be dialed into the plan. Everybody's got to know it even more so, because in the huddle you might not hear everything. That's just the environment, going into it. So for us, it's just focus one play at a time, not getting ahead of yourselves, hearing every word in the huddle, and going from there.
He's got a very good defense from Steve Spagnuolo. When you look at the film, what are some of the things you see from that unit? And, as a quarterback going against like a top defense like that, what's kind of your mentality going into that game?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing when you just watch their tape, they fly around. It's a unit that you can tell plays for each other, plays for that team, and they have great players on all levels. And so, obviously, up front, you got Karlaftis and Chris Jones that can be your game wreckers, and those linebackers are flying around. And the defensive backs, I mean, a lot of them are interchangeable, but that's what Spags wants to do. He wants those guys to be able to do every single job, give you the same look, and run a completely different scheme. So they do a really good job of playing with each other, of showing you different looks and presenting it in certain ways. So we just have to, for me, it's reading my keys, going through it one step at a time, and understanding what scheme or concept we have on, and trust those reads.
Big, I know you want to make a play every play. It's the quarterback's job, right? You almost have to, and you're as competitive as anybody, but you almost have to force yourself to be boring at times, and just, especially in a game like this where, time of possession, all those things matter. You just have to be even more disciplined.
Yeah. It's not. There's always a fine line of balancing the aggression and protecting the football. And, when you have your shots, you got to take advantage of them. But if they're not there, do the safe thing. Check it down, get out of the play, move on to the next down, and live to play another down. So that's. And like you said, in a game like this, being smart with the football is the most important thing, and going from there.
You mentioned at the beginning of the year that cutting down on turnovers was kind of top priority. Are the interceptions starting to eat at you a little bit over these last 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it pisses me off. I don't want to turn the ball over. To me, that's shooting our whole team in the foot. That's not what I want to do. It makes me angry. Obviously, it's something that I can directly fix, and that's what I'm going to do.
The running game, have you noticed the improvement? Does it start up front? What do you think?
It's a little bit of everything. I think up front, the guys are playing unbelievable. First and foremost, it does start up front. But everybody having a part in the run game, receivers running the right motions, being detailed, tight ends having a hand in it, and then the backs having the right tracks, understanding their reads on certain concepts and where to cut and when to do it. And then it comes down to some of our backs making plays, broken tackles, but it goes to the guys up front, and those guys are playing really well right now.
And the follow-up on the new receivers, how do you think they did Were they in the right spots
Mhm.
most of the time?
Yeah, no, I thought they played great. You know, for the first game, for a lot of them out there, especially Rock being back. I mean, Ryan Miller's a guy that we trust. He's obviously a smart football player that's kind of plugging and playing different spots for us. But yeah, we're trusting these guys to get the job done, and they did.
Do you feel like Cade, you target him more obviously without those guys in there, but like the runs after the catch, like are you seeing things from him that maybe you didn't know really existed? Is he just turning it up a little bit?
I don't know. That's like a somewhat of a hurdle on that long run. It's somewhat of a hurdle. Let's not give him all that. He shaved his mustache, and I'm not really happy for him right now. No, it's mustache Cade is a different animal. So we'll see if he can keep this going. I vote that he keeps the mustache, but that might be a business decision with the home life. I don't know what Sierra's telling him, so we'll see.
With him running more wide receiver routes this past week, just watching the film on that, just to go to the question, does he look like a more complete player than maybe you thought?
No, I mean Cade's a guy. I mentioned it after the game. That, you know, when we have Mike and Chris out there, the offense just looks different. You know, you're scheming things up for those guys, and Cade does a lot of the dirty work. And so right now, Cade's being able to showcase his physical talent, and he's such a smart football player, unselfish guy, but he understands in some of these zone coverages what he's supposed to do, where he's supposed to attack it, and you're seeing him thrive because of that.
He's become a fan favorite pretty quickly. You hear the chants in the stadium. Not going to hear it this week, obviously, but what impresses you about this rookie?
It's hard to get down. Not the biggest guy by any means, but he's trying to make an explosive play every time he touches the ball, and that's what you saw from his college tape, and he's translated it directly to the NFL, which is not easy to do. You know, for him, it's just get the ball in his hands and see what happens, because it's fun to watch.
Scoring early, Baker had been a problem last year and the year before when you weren't here, and now it's not.
Yeah.
You know, you're top 5, top 3 in points in the first quarter. What's been the difference in that regard?
Scheme, the way our coaches are teaching it, and just the accountability of our group. I think the guys that were here last year, majority of the guys that we have, understood that starting fast didn't help us in any situations. That, you know, not being able to get ahead or be in the ball games to run the ball, just making yourself one-dimensional is not easy. So for us, it starts with scheme and the way our coaches are doing it, and the guys taking accountability in it.